Hi, Alistair. We are back for another masterclass, and today's class is an interesting one. It's an important one because we're looking at the word because. And in many cases, the whole idea of business English is really, in a way, taking your vocabulary to the next level. It's a lot of different things, but one part of it is to take your vocabulary to the next level. And that is not always easy, and that's why we need to give these challenges, provide these challenges, and practice in a sort of safe environment so that our students can use this new vocabulary once they're in a more real situation, right?
Yeah, they can make some mistakes and learn from them with us.
Absolutely,
it's not in a high pressure meeting.
That's right. And it's probably one of the best ways to really get yourself comfortable with this new vocabulary. And today, what we're actually doing is we're looking at the word because. Now, because is something that we all know, a word that all of us use. Maybe we sometimes use it too frequently. And certainly in a business context, it's good to have alternatives, right? Just as we are giving alternatives to lots of other words, we need alternatives to because as well. And so in this particular situation, we have decided that we've got 4 different alternatives that we're going to explain today. And we're going to go through them one by one, giving the Fluency community members just an idea about how they can use them in combination with what they can use it, and sort of add-ons that can also be really important to take that sort of communication level to the next stage, right? So what we're going to do is the first one is due to. So alternatives to because. The first one that we've got here is due to. Now, due to is something that I certainly in a business context would use a lot. I just find it very useful in so many contexts. And it can be, and we can add things onto due to as well, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But due to is a useful one, right, Alistair?
First, the pronunciation is not easy for some people. Find it difficult to get the due, the due. Although Americans actually, so those people in Latin America, probably more familiar with American English, I imagine. An American would say do to. They would pronounce it like do, D-O. But we, being British,
that's true.
Yeah, they say due to the something, due to the bad weather, the meeting has been cancelled. But we would say due, this y sound. So there is actually a difference in pronunciation between American English and British. But anyway, we're British, so we'll stick with how we say it, that some people may find maybe a bit more difficult, which is the due to.
Yeah.
It's debido a in Spanish.
Debido a, yeah.
So due to, but really what we're replacing more than because is because of.
That's right.
It's an alternative, because of something. So
that's
these
right.
expressions actually have to be followed by a noun or something similar to a noun.
That's right. That's right.
Not a subject verb.
That's right.
It's like saying because of something. So it's really the of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So due to something is like because of something.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Well, I've got an example here.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. That let's go with that sentence, because that's kind of an interesting one. And I think your point is really good there, because it's true that we're not just really replacing because can be used in many different forms, right? But we're really replacing that because of. Yeah, absolutely.
Just to make that clear. So So the sentence I have here is, the flight was cancelled due to terrible weather conditions. Yeah. So you could say because of terrible weather conditions.
Yeah.
But obviously the point of this is this masterclass to give you an alternative to saying because of. So here's one, a very useful one, very common. Yeah. That you said you use a lot. No, due to. So it's due to the terrible weather conditions.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. It's a something. No.
Yeah.
So an American would say due to. There is a slight difference, which maybe people find difficult to detect the difference.
Yeah.
For us, it's quite obvious, that difference, but not necessarily for a non-native speaker.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So due to. Now, we were going to say that these add-ons that we could actually put onto, and maybe it's good to mention this right at the early stage, because this add-on can be added to every single one of these that we're going to use, right, Alistair? So what is those add-ons that maybe take the sentence even to a higher level? Because we were discussing this before we recorded, right?
Yeah, because the problem with these is you can't use subject verb. You've got to use a noun, like the example of the bad weather conditions. No, due to the bad weather conditions, the flight was cancelled. Now, maybe you want to talk about a person and an action. and then you can't use this, but you can, because you can introduce a noun phrase, if you like, that you can use with all of them. And after that, you can introduce a subject and a verb. So, for example, you could say, due to the fact that the boss is ill, we've decided to call off the meeting, or postpone the meeting, or cancel the meeting. So so you can't say due to the boss is ill. You can't say that.
No.
So you can't say because of the boss is ill either.
No.
So you need to put that, the fact.
Yes.
And there's your noun. So it's okay. And you can follow that with subject verb. So due to the fact that, whatever it may be, the weather conditions are terrible, the flight has been cancelled.
Yeah. And that's really useful, because actually I use that. If you say, in a way, it's like almost like a collocation, right? But it's just like, it just really works well. And in fact, when I use due to, I often just automatically add on the fact that, in many cases, due to the fact that, it's kind of like almost naturally, when I use the due to, the second add-on is like very frequent for me, certainly in a business context anyway. So yeah.
Well, for example, we were just talking about this in the podcast.
Yeah.
About you organized a trip to Disneyland in Paris.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that your wife had an accident and broke her elbow, was it?
That's right, elbow. Yeah.
You had to cancel it, or you had to postpone it at least till September. So there, because I suppose your brain automatically, being a native speaker, you don't have to consciously think about it.
Yeah.
You know that you want to say, my wife broke her elbow.
Yeah.
If you're going to say that, you've got to put the fact, if you choose to use due to.
Yeah, that's right.
So your brain is thinking due to, and you go, oh, your brain is saying, I want to say my wife broke her elbow. You can't say due to my wife broke her elbow.
That's right.
So your brain, if you're a native speaker, just automatically fills in that gap with due to the, and you don't have to think about it. You say due to the fact that my wife fell from a bicycle, I think, if I remember, fell off her bicycle and broke her elbow. I had to cancel the family holiday in Disneyland Paris. So it's very useful, in fact, that if you're going to use due to, and you want to say a person doing something, subject verb, you've got to put the fact that in the middle. You've got to separate it. Now, of course, you may just say due to bad weather conditions, my holiday was cancelled. You don't need to say due to the fact that there, because it works.
No. Sure. So
it just depends what you're going to say, and your brain
does
filling in the gaps, if you like, ahead. Which is easy when you're a native speaker. It's much more difficult when you're not, when it's not your first language.
And that's the challenge, right? That's the challenge here. And so hopefully by explaining that, we will get those we'll get our members really focusing on how the construction of their particular phrases, right? Because we'll come on to the challenge at the end, but the actual construction of the phrase is going to be important. And do I need to add that? Do I need to add the fact that? That's important or not?
And that rule applies to all the next three.
Exactly.
So all of these are the same. They work in the same way.
That's right. And so let's go through the other three fairly quickly, because really the construction itself doesn't change that much. They are the last two are a little bit different in terms of meaning, let's say. The first two are similar. So we've got due to, and then we've got the second one being owing to, right?
Owing exactly the same.
Exactly
Debido a in Spanish, the same phrase.
Exactly.
And it works in the same way. So the example I gave before, you just replace due to with owing to. So
that's right.
The flight was cancelled owing to bad weather conditions.
That's right. Exactly.
And the meeting was postponed owing to the fact that the boss is on holiday and can't attend.
Yeah.
The same.
See, that's where you really get into this sort of business English situation where you're kind of like, it's a much more formal language, isn't it? It's kind of more elaborate. And that's what business English is a little bit about, and where we want to push our fluency community members a little bit. So those first two are good. Due to, owing to. Choose which one you like more. It doesn't, you don't have to, maybe owing to is kind of like, you never come across it. You never feel as if, no, I don't really, doesn't connect with me. Just use your due to then. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you can use both and vary them, that's
fantastic. Fantastic. But we would just want to kind of, which is what's nice about at least getting one of them is that you might use it, start to use it in a business context, right? And once you kind of start to feel more comfortable, maybe you can add the other one later on, no problem. But
the one you feel more comfortable with and comes to your mind, quicker faster, without having to think too much.
Yeah. The 3 and 4, let's go through those. In view of is the third one. And then we have on account of. In view of, on account of.
Basically mean the same. And again, interchangeable, really.
Yeah.
And again, really are substituting because of.
Yeah, that's right. You can use the fact as well, right, with those?
Yeah.
In view of the fact, you can use that as well.
Yeah, on account of the fact that. Yeah. Just the same. If you want to introduce subject verb, you've got to add that bit in the middle, if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, work in the same way.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if we have any examples or not.
Well, we could say, in view, you could use the same sentence, really, couldn't you? Because you could say, in view of the bad weather, the flight was cancelled.
Or the concert was cancelled. Or in view of the bad weather, on account of the bad weather, the flight was cancelled.
Yeah. Or in view of the fact that a number of people can't attend, I think that we should, delay the meeting, call off the meeting, whatever it might be, right?
So put back the meeting.
Put back the meeting, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically all 4 you can use in the same meaning, really, or because of.
Yeah.
And with a noun, and if you want to use a subject verb, you can add that extra
the fact that. Yes. So that's the challenge, really, is to come up with a story that involves those. So you're thinking of because of, right? So there's because of, right? But then I'm not going to use because of. I'm going to use something else, right? So just some story related to anything. It doesn't have to be business
or not work.
Yeah, it can be anything at all.
But of course, the past, from the present, whatever.
Absolutely.
It's a bit like the taboo again. Knows it's like try to come up with this situation that you're explaining, and don't use because of. Substitute it with one or preferably more than one of these expressions.
Yeah.
Try to use at least a couple, I would say, in your video. If you do a video, we're not getting any.
Yeah.
So encouraging you again to try to get those videos in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. I think that's it, Alistair. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good alternatives. Good alternatives there. So let's see what our Fluency members can come up with. And
looking forward to seeing the videos, or at least hearing people use them and practice them in the live
sessions. Yeah. Good. All right. Cheers, Alistair. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We'll speak soon. All right.
Yeah.
See you then.
Cheers. Bye.